what are the 5 best stretches that you can do post-race? Hi, my name's Colette. I'm the Run Recovery Coach, and today we're going to talk about the 5 best stretches, types of stretches that you can do post-race. Today we have a special edition. We are outside in the beautiful countryside. And basically, I just finished a run myself this morning. And, when you come back from a longer training run, especially if you're working towards an event, you tend to get certain niggles and pains in places, some unspeakable, some not so much. But basically, what we need to be, one of the aspects of run recovery that we need to be taking care of is our muscular recovery, and the way to do that is doing some nice stretches after a training run, and the timing matters as well, because you can do stretches all that you like, but look at all these beautiful daffodils. It's a gorgeous time of year. So you want to make sure that you are doing some good stretches after your runs. And I know this is the same old that everybody always talks about, but how many of you actually stretch after you do a training run? And it's a lot harder to put into action than people let on. So today, let's talk about the first thing that you need to do. So when you finish a run, you want to make sure that you are firstly figuring out where your niggles are in your body. I mean, there's 5 or 6 different areas on the body that we hit hard as runners, generally just due to the mechanics of how we run. And some of us use certain areas more than others. But basically, first you need to do kind of a body scan and see where it is that's really causing you pain or niggles. It's generally good to do some general stretching anyway if it's not on your niggles, but I want you to pay close attention to the areas that are causing you some potential problems. So the second thing that you need to do in terms of making sure that you're stretching properly and doing what you need to do is focusing on the most used areas of the body, and stretching those for when we run. So you'll notice we've got, I think 5 different areas. We've got the hamstrings, the quads, the calves, the feet, and the glutes. And as you can see, I haven't mentioned anything upper body there, but that's because these are the real heavy hitters. Of course, if you have time, of course, if you're doing a proper stretch session, you should actually stretch the whole body. But in most cases, I do understand that, literally you're doing little bits and pieces where you can. So really, we've got for hamstrings, if you identify that that's a problem area for you, you can do a standing or seated straight leg stretch for your hamstrings. For your quads, you can do a standing quad stretch where, it's the most common one you see with sports athletes, where you just bend your foot back and you grab onto it and you stretch out the quads. The next one is the calves. And this one's quite funny because I always used to get comments when I was growing up, and even still today. I'll never forget, I went to try on a pair of jeans at a diesel shop in the city, and there was a nice gentleman in there. He was being very helpful, and I've always been known to have quite large calves, and so he asked me, he goes, can I ask you, what do you do? Do you lift, what do you do to get such big calves, And of course, as a woman, I'm like, calves, big calves. I don't want to be seen having big calves. But actually what I didn't realize at the time is that having more muscular, bigger calves was a strength of mine. And I said to him, I'm sorry, they're just the genes. And by that, I meant they're not the genes that I'm trying on in your shop, but they're genetics genes. So yeah, I do tend to work a lot on my calves. And what you need to do to stretch those out properly is to do kind of the best one you can do is on the stairs, really, where you do a calf drop step. or a really good way to get the calves as well. And the calf drop step, you can also get the Achilles, which is also a potential problem area for us runners. You can also do downward dog. That's also a very useful calf stretch. And that obviously comes from my background as a yoga instructor, but that's a really good deep stretch, and you can alternate your feet back and forth a little bit. So the next big area of use is feet. So for that one, I really love, and I this is big in yoga as well, as you can do what I like to call is like pushing the ball of your foot into the floor. So you kind of lift the back half of your foot and you push it down into the floor. And then you do that the opposite direction as well with the tops of your toes. Now it seems a bit strange, but it actually is really, really effective in stretching out the whole front area of the foot. And our feet are so complex with so many tiny bones and ligaments. In them, that it's really, really important that we give those a bit of a nod as well at the end of a training run. And then lastly is the glutes, some of our biggest muscular area in our bottoms. And the best one for that really that I've found, which can be tricky to get into, is what we call a pigeon pose, which is where you put your leg, you leave one leg backwards and you put one leg in front of you, and you try to drop down onto that bent, angled leg. So those are kind of the really key areas we want to be working on after a long training run or a race. And the third tip or pointer around that is really you should make sure that you're doing it within 1 hour of the race or the long run to get the maximum benefit out of the stretches, because your body's all tight and tense in that time. So do that within an hour. And then the last and fourth tip is really around encouraging multitasking, because let's be honest, you're not going to sit down in a Zen yoga pose and stretch out for an hour after we've got our race or our long run. Life takes over. I understand that. We all as runners prioritize. We always prioritize the run itself. So in order to encourage us all to do it more often, I just say multitask. Do it while you're drinking your glass of water when you get home, standing on the side. Do it while you're chatting to your friends after you finish your run, and just try to put it in subconsciously. Okay. So those are the tips for today. I would encourage you to go to, if those were helpful at all, or you thought that was great, go to runrecoverycoach.com/race. And I've got a free post-race blueprint there that anyone can have. It's totally free, and it tells you in the timeline exactly what you need to be doing in order to recover after a long run or a race that's like really put your body through some intensity. And it tells you what you need to eat, what you need to do for stretching, and everything you need to do at the certain time frame, because timing does matter, folks. So go ahead and get that, and then join me tomorrow when we talk about this strange race recovery technique that has all the professional athletes talking. So I'll have a good rest of the day. Let me know if you want me to do a more practical version of this chat. I know it's just talking, but I can't really ideally do it in this setting today. So leave some comments below. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you want a more practical version. And I will see you tomorrow when we talk about that strange race recovery technique where all the pros are talking about. Take care. Bye.